Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Scribe podcast on YouTube, Google Podcasts, and every platform. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like this video, and share it with your friends, your family, whoever. Maybe a dog on the street that you met. Um, and today I'll be talking with Noah Mittman. How are you, Noah?
I'm good. How are you, Guy?
Yeah, I'm fine. It is very exciting to be talking with someone who is a director because I never had the chance to talk with someone from the film industry. And I am very interested in the kind of niche or the kind of behind the scenes of the
Yeah,
industry. So can you
there's a
first,
lot.
yes, that's why it's behind the scenes because nobody wants to know that what is happening.
Or if you're like me and you want to know everything and all you do is watch behind the scenes documentaries.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like the true crime, the kind of superhero movies. I like the supernatural natural detective movies.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the kind of niche, the kind of indie cinema also. The horror cinema I really like.
Yeah, it's my
Um,
wife's favorite genre.
yeah, I like the Korean, specifically horror movies.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but the American, not the slasher movies, but the scare fright, the kind of, surprise scares
Yeah.
kind of movies. Yeah. So can you introduce yourself and talk about yourself a bit?
Sure, yeah. Let's see. I've been a filmmaker since 2006, which gives context to whatever year this is you're hearing this in. And I've been running my video production company, Snowman Films, since 2012. And I've done a fair amount of directing over the years. I do a lot of director photography, cam opping, editing, kind of do a little bit of everything, and just kind of enjoy creating in all aspects. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to have it pay the bills for quite a long time, and even if just enough to pay the bills, and just happy to be doing something that I love for a living.
Mm, yeah, yeah. That's so cool that you get to direct films because I wanted to direct films. I wanted to be an author, but a kind of sub genre of that is filmmaking, which I consider the ultimate kind of book or myth making or writing
Mm-hmm.
because there is a kind of a class of elitism in film critique circles who say that.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think the what's interesting now is I think the obviously like the Hollywood thing is still there, but like it's less you have to go to LA to make stuff because of the internet. You can kind of network and release and whatever you want to do on that's kind of what streaming has given us is it doesn't, I mean, it's cool if it goes out in theaters, obviously, like if you're hooked up with a studio, but like you can really gain a name and notoriety and doing your thing just by putting out a project you've worked super hard on the internet and seeing how people respond, and just keeping going with it. It's a really free kind of new age that we're living in, which is cool. The gatekeepers are gone a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the gatekeepers shifted or they reduced in numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe there's just more gatekeepers now. It's
Mm.
it's not just, oh, you have to go to one of the five studios to get your stuff made. It's you can find a random company that believes in your project and fund you because they like who you are in the story. And if you can get the right meeting with the right platform, you can have it out on Netflix.
Yeah, maybe you're someone who never got on stage but will get a stand-up comedy
There
special.
you go. Yeah, exactly. It's just hard. It's just work, man. It's just going out and creating. And that's really kind of what I think that's where I've gotten to is just one of my the things that I live by is stop waiting, start creating.
Mm.
because that's really just what it takes. It's like you just go out and make stuff and put it out there as best you can. And a lot of it's networking, honestly. A lot of it, just like any kind of career, it's who you know. People, friends hire friends. And work hard and be humble, and don't be afraid to learn. Like, just like right now, we were having a conversation before, like I've been in kind of camera and directing roles a lot. I've even directed, this past weekend I was directing a 5-person camera crew for a music festival. But also, I know that I need more knowledge in the higher level, like lighting and supporting like grip equipment for, like bigger films and like bigger commercials and all that stuff, like kind of the next level. Because Denver has kind of a lot of very underground stuff, a lot of kind of low budget stuff, and then it also has a lot of very high budget, big corporate kind of stuff. But you need a certain knowledge and language to be able to hold your own and be on those sets and be an asset to them. So I'm currently in an internship and trying to get kind of lower level positions in the higher level projects to up level to that level, which is exciting, and it's like going to school again. But what's cool is that once there's success there, that work will never run out. Like usually there's, right now at the level that I'm at, there's kind of a slow season in the winter because people are doing a holiday thing. When you get to a certain level, it never slows down. So that's great.
Yeah. And now do you find that with kind of the rise, or maybe the rising tide, there's a nice poster, everybody knows the Hokusai kind of Japanese waves, and this is a great tsunami called Netflix. And I find that each kind of original Netflix production series has that kind of cinematic quality to each and every episode. So can you talk to that kind of phenomenon?
Oh, I mean, it's interesting actually with the streaming platforms, with all of them, because I mean, you got Netflix, you got HBO Max making a play, you got Disney Plus is doing original content. Like it's really like field day for creators.
Yeah, Amazon Prime is also
Amazon Prime. One. I mean, literally every single streaming platform has original content, and they're all. I mean, what Amazon Prime made The Boys, which is incredible. That's like there's so many cinematic shows going on. Kind of like this heyday for TV that with streaming, TV is a lot of like you have your movies and stuff, but now the movies are being released in theaters and on a streaming platform. So what's cool is like for work, it's just everything opens up. There's just, there's a never ending content need now from all the streaming platforms, which is fantastic for work for the people in the industry, because tons and tons of work. And if you're a writer, if you're a storyteller, if you have a good story, it's, go pitch, you have 10 more places to pitch it now, which is great.
And I find that, the kind of old guard of kind of Hollywood art actors are being replaced with all kinds of people who come from, the ether, from nowhere.
Yeah.
And I see those people there, whoa, they're very talented, and I have no idea who they are, and I don't care.
The next generation.
Yes, like the X-Men. So when did you start filmmaking? Did you always want to become a cinematographer, director?
I'll tell you the exact moment. It was, I don't know this, I think it was 2005 or 6. But so I was in high school. I graduated 2007, and I was the kid. I hated high school. I was too ADHD for it and high energy and stuff. But the perfect weekend for me is like go to Blockbuster, which dates me, but go to Blockbuster, get like 5 DVDs, ride my bike home, get like a sandwich and a vanilla Coke and just
We
walk
had
off.
a guy standing in the corner with a jacket. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
didn't have blockbusters.
That's it. That's how you can get blockbusters now. um, work there later actually. But no, I would like go home and watch all 5 movies back to back, and that was like a great day for me. And one of those movies I remember was The Matrix, and I remember seeing the behind the scenes featurette for The Matrix. This this movie that blew my mind open in terms of like what you could do in a movie with visuals and with story and just this whole thing. Opened up the simulate what was it, like simulation theory, all this shit. Can I swear, by the way?
Particularly the shit, not the.
Yeah. But no, so I saw, behind the scenes, and I, saw this entire crew working behind the camera, and I was like, oh my God, like you can actually work. There's credits with hundreds of thousands, thousands of people in it.
Yes.
There's jobs there, like you could work in the movies, and that was when I was like, okay, like that would be the coolest career, to just make movies and like tell stories and be, create, and the fire got lit then, and I'm lucky that it's been it's been over 15 years, and it still hasn't gone out. So yeah, I'm always excited to make stuff and to film, and the directing is fun because there's just so much. It's not just like, oh, can you keep the camera in focus and like hit your mark. It's making sure that the actor notes hit the story, and making sure that they're saying the lines right, and the lighting looks good, and the day is going to plan. There's just so much, and it's challenging, which is great because I really need that, and it's fun, and it's really a teamwork is the biggest thing. It's like the biggest. There's no one person accepting an Oscar for a film is
Yes.
ridiculous, because it's a team sport.
Yes.
But no, that was really the start of it. It was I saw The Matrix, and I was like, that would be the dopest like career and the dopest life ever. And I am still chasing it, and have gotten to be part of a couple features so far, and want to just keep going.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very nice. So, what was the kind of first film that you saw that wasn't just kind of running pictures, but you actually invested in it?
Oh man, like the first movie that, let's see. Well, I didn't have a TV growing up until I was like 12, which I think is part of why I'm so obsessed with it. Is because I didn't have a screen. I didn't have movies or TV to watch.
Yeah.
We finally got a TV when I was 12, and I remember the first movie that we watched on it was Singing in the Rain. And that was, I just felt that's just like the ultimate feel good movie. It's so good. And then I think the second follow up to that was Princess Bride, which again is just two classics. Like, my mom made fantastic choices on those to show me. But no, those were just really like, just that magic that you feel. I call it the movie high. Like when it's something so good, you just like come out buzzing. You're just like, oh my God, that was great. And you really have to be a fan of movies to get that. And I'm always chasing that high.
Yeah. So when you watch a new movie, shall we say, and you're sitting in a theater, because I know that directors or cinematographers will not let themselves to watch a movie on the small screen, on the silver screen.
That's very true.
Only on the.
I actually don't know if I've ever watched a movie on a phone. It's always at least been on at home, like on the TV. But I know the movies is sacred.
Yes, because it's a lot different. It's not like, almost not like any other form of art, because you have dancing, you have theater, you have live shows, but this is something else. Movies combine all those different elements.
I was gonna say it's everything.
Yes, it kind of borrows from everything, and it's like it's like the ultimate scheme, shall we say.
Hmm.
It's the ultimate pyramid scheme when you watch a movie. It's not real. It's a screen that you can tear into pieces. Yeah.
I've I've actually never heard that, but that's very true. A movie's a lot like a pyramid scheme because if it's good and it convinces you, it sucks you in emotionally. I got pulled into a pyramid scheme back in the day, and it's definitely
Oh
like
no.
there's that like emotional investment that you're just I don't know they're they tell good stories, and there's like
Mhm.
this feeling that they create for you, which is it's storytelling. It's I mean that's a big thing with marketing now because I do a lot of a good amount of how I make money is small business marketing with video, and a lot the most effective stuff with that is storytelling through marketing so that you have an emotional investment because just saying hey buy the stuff doesn't work. It's here's my story and how it ties in and then the call to action based on that story, and then you're emotionally invested and you want to buy.
Mm. So moving on, when did you you said you studied cinematography, went to film school. So what was that like, and when did you first decided to go?
I'm laughing because I'm very outspoken about film school being a total waste of time. Um,
Okay, shoot it.
no, it's good.
Let's
Yeah,
shoot the shit, man.
I went to CU Denver Film School, and again, listen, I met a guy there that right after I came out, we shot a documentary together they got on Netflix for a while. So like you get connections there,
Nice.
but um, no, it's good. I mean, you learn the basics of gear, you learn shots. The thing is, I've been making movies since high school already. So like it was a lot of it was like somebody who's never made anything before. And I mean, there was a lot of like film history and stuff, which is good to know. I should probably be more of a cinephile of like the really old stuff, but I don't know. I like newer. I mean, you can always study from the old stuff, but the main thing the main gripe that I have with film school is that they don't teach you the business side of things.
Mm,
At least the one that I went to. They don't teach you how to set your rates. They don't teach you where to find jobs. They don't teach you um, now, especially now getting into the higher level of things of like, working for Toyota or the Broncos or whatever. There's terms in that level that they don't teach you in film school. So there's just a lot of stuff that they kind of skip over that is really necessary for being a working professional. Um, and you really have to seek it out yourself. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, listen, everything you could potentially learn in film school, you can learn on YouTube. And now there's masterclass with, James Cameron, Scorsese, all these people teaching you like
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
Ron Howard, like
Mhm.
that's worth so much, and it's like $100. It is so much more cost effective, and
Yes.
it'll give you better education. And really, what you need to be a filmmaker is to just go make movies, is to just go make
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, but
Um,
you're not going to rent a camera from the lot and start gathering people off the street to make a movie, of
that's
course.
it. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what people. That's exactly what you do. Like you have to go do it yourself. It's not any like nothing's handed nothing's handed just like anything that you want that's like worth it. Nothing is handed to you. You have to work
Yeah,
for it. You
yeah,
have to
yeah.
gain the respect, gain the, oh, this person works hard and shows up and is really willing to learn. And again, film school is great if you want to be a critic. Like you can study the old stuff and write essays and shit. And that just, I was like, I'm tired of writing 5-page essays on the importance of the Stanislavski method. It's just there's so much. It just wasn't my thing. So I know. Again, listen, I won awards in film school. Like I was doing stuff but I just like a lot of it was frustrating because I just wanted to go. It was a lot of classroom time, and I'm ADHD, and I just don't work in the classroom setting that well, especially in a warm, dark movie theater at 8 p.m. at night. I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm sorry. It's just
Yes.
like the seats are comfy. Um, but no, like it's same thing that I said at the beginning. Like stop waiting, start creating. Find the
Mm,
people that say you're going to go to film school. You're already like
I'm
locked in.
gonna write it down right now.
There you go. Stop waiting, start creating. We have
You
shirts.
can keep talking.
But no, like find the people that you like, you like what they're up to, you like the style of work that they're doing, and try and get on set with them, try and collaborate, try and make some friends. And, again, it's a team sport. So if you can find the people that you gel with and that you are, I mean, that's how a lot of, like Trey Parker, Matt Stone, like you find partners that you work really well with, and then you can make something incredible.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you like a faux question to ask you, did you ever want to secretly want to become a method actor?
It's funny. I was an actor through high school in musical theater. I was one of the guys. I have both my parents are singers, so I could sing. And there was this theater company that like a bunch of my friends were in, and I joined up and got some leading roles. But like, and I've acted in some films and stuff. I'll do cameos and stuff. But like, I really, again, I was like, I could definitely become an actor, but my passion is really crafting this frame and is the behind the scenes. I really love being behind camera, and that's the thing, like even directing is kind of, you get a little bit of like, you have to tell the stories, you have to be able to communicate with the actors of like here's the emotion that I want, like, and then be able to see it in their eyes and stuff. So there's a little bit of relationship with it. But no, I'm all good on I have a lot of friends that are trying to go down the acting track, and man, it is a rough road getting started.
Yes. Yeah, you have to knock on the right doors.
You have to love it. Just like anything, you have to be absolutely diehard passionate about it. And that's for everything. Like you don't get into filmmaking because you're chasing money. It's not, it takes a long time to get good money, and I'm not even at the good money yet. I'm, just paying bills, which is great. But it's really a labor of love. And honestly, in terms of like this versus like a 9-to-5, one of the hardest things, like you work your ass off, you're carrying heavy equipment, it's long, a filming like full day is a 12-hour day because you got to catch the light, and you start at like 6 a.m. So it's hard work. And if you don't love it and you don't, it doesn't light you up, you're not in it for the marathon.
Yeah. Do you know of kind of movies when you said, when you mentioned the light and catching the light and 12-hour shift, daily shift, was there a movie ever made that kind of followed the progression of the natural light without cutting? There's something.
I mean, I'm thinking 1917. Because that was one of the most interesting ones ever. I'm sure that they used, I know they didn't, it wasn't all daylight because there's night scenes, but by the way, Roger Deakins is a fucking boss. Like that guy is a legend. Because basically for 1917, it's, for people that don't know, it's a war film that is it's like a one take film. It's all looks like it's in one take. There's cuts that are hidden, but it's a feature film that looks like it's a one take. And the way that they did it is they had to, it's actually funny talking about light, because they had to wait for a lack of light. They had to wait for clouds for every shot, because otherwise the shots weren't going to match cut to cut unless you have clouds, which is natural diffusion on the sun. Diffusion is like kind of softening light. So you don't have harsh shadows on your face coming down from above. So waiting for clouds gave the entire film a universal look, but they literally had to wait for cloud cover. So like that stuff like that is what was just like incredible of hearing about that. Just like, oh my God, you shot a whole feature film only when it was cloudy. Yeah. Like that's, and some people only will shoot in magic hour, which is just before, right around sunrise, right around sunset, because that's when the light is the prettiest. But they literally will only shoot for like those 2 hours a day or whatever. Or even 1 hour, which is insane. But like, man, it looks when you see those gorgeous magic hour shots, like I get it.
Yes. A lot of romantic movies use those kinds of lightings, natural lighting. But I don't like it particularly, but I don't hate it. I don't scoff at it. I say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, it's all, I mean, it's just kind of personal. That's the thing. There's so much subjective in film. Like, it's
Mm,
just, oh, what you think is cool. And that's really, I think, what makes somebody good is we all have that eye. We all have the taste. It's kind of that, it's the gap that Ira Glass talks about. The
mm,
gap of what you see in your head and the idea that you have. And then are you able to actually produce that image yourself through skill? Or is there a gap of like you see it in your head, but you aren't good enough quite yet? Because it takes years to be able to actually make something look on screen the way that you see it in your head. Um, and that's exactly what you're talking about is like, can you pull off the look that you want? Because if you're good, you understand your taste is solid no matter what. Even if you're a beginner, you know what you like. And the people that are successful can translate what their taste is into what they produce, which is that's why it's a lifetime study.
yeah. Well, I want to talk about the different aspect of the filmmaking and specifically the director's profession, because a director has to be kind of a man, a renaissance man.
Yeah.
There are very few professions in the arts and humanities that combine or incorporate both the scientific and the artistic fields.
Mm-hmm.
So can you speak to that kind of part of
Absolutely.
the
I mean,
director?
it's the gear that we use, right? It's the actual tools, it's the
Mm,
cameras, it's the camera movement tools, it's the editing software, it's the lighting. I mean, again, this is exactly what I'm upping my skills on right now is the science of professional level lighting. I can 3-point light anything with a couple LEDs. That's easy. But like understanding how much, and this is again, we're going to go into mad scientist stuff, how much color, like something I recently learned was that you lose color temperature in a light the further the cord goes in distance, which
mm,
is, I had like, oh my God, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that's
So
cool.
stuff like that of like, can you be a technician and know your stuff enough to make things look a certain way in lighting, in, you know, lenses, I just recently upgraded to a better lens that will work better with my camera, but it was a 24 millimeter to 70 millimeter instead of a 24 to 105, which I normally run on. So I'm not able to get as close when I zoom in, so I just have to physically move closer. But the reason I got it was because the F's, and this is again a whole different language. The F stop, I wanted a 2.8 F stop instead of an F4 because that would give me prettier, out of focus background
Mm,
shots. So that was worth it to lose the extra
mm,
millimeters in the lens length. Stuff like that is like I'm talking like length. So there's a whole, and the only way that you would get that language and get that knowledge is by doing it. It's just by going and experiencing. Like, what does a 50 millimeter look like compared to a 15 millimeter, compared to a 200 millimeter, and what is the right, what's the look that you want, and then what lens will give you that.
mm,
There's just so much, like yeah. There's a whole, and that's just again, we're going like scratching the surface basic level here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask a
Sensor
kind of,
sizes on cameras, like there's just, anyway, I can keep going.
yeah, we'll let you if you want to
No, it's
talk
fine.
about it, but
It's fine. I geek out.
yeah, yeah, me too. I like movies a lot. I didn't used to watch a lot of movies, maybe highbrow, shall we say, kinds of movies. I used to, kind of a trash horror, adventure, fantasy kind of movies that weren't good,
Nothing wrong with
actually.
them.
Sorry?
Nothing wrong with them. It's a fun
Yeah,
time.
yeah, but now, but now my taste has gotten a little more subtler and
Hmm.
more. I have a more finesse to my taste in movies, and I've watched a lot of the classics. which I never watched before. Um, and I just wanted to talk about like the modern kind of drama movies. All you
Hmm.
know, all the breakups in the family and all kinds of storylines of people coming through from Iraq, maybe families splitting apart, you know, kind of infidelity, all those kinds of storylines of
Mhm.
alcoholism and drug abuse. And I find that they cut those movies in a very kind of weird way, you know, snapshots of that cut scene running one after the other with no real explanation. Can you speak to that kind of method or uh, philosophy of
Yeah.
filmmaking?
No, it's, I mean, just the way you described it. I mean, it seems like, and this is kind of in the editing,
Mm,
where, and I think shooting with the edit in mind is huge when you're
mm,
filmmaking, like knowing what the feeling of it's going to be and knowing what the pace of it's going to be. And I mean, as you say, kind of scenes kind of coming at you in random order kind of speaks to the, and this is kind of the art side of it, right? Like somebody dealing with alcoholism or dealing with, PTSD, um, like where they are mentally is in a random crazy place.
mm,
So that might be how the film feels, because it's, I mean, just like what Anthony Hopkins just won Best Actor for the movie about Alzheimer's and dementia.
mm,
And
mm.
in that movie, some of the scenes didn't make sense. They were kind of random
Yeah, yeah.
because you're following him as the main character. So he's losing stuff. So you as an audience are not getting the information because he's not getting the information,
Mm,
which people, it's kind of a rough film to watch because sometimes it doesn't make sense, but you're like, oh wow, this is like a bigger thing because he's dealing with this. So we're
mm,
following his, it's like, so another potential, kind of example of this is Quiet Place 2 just came out.
yeah,
And there are scenes in that, especially in the opening, where one of the main characters is deaf, and it switches when it's in her perspective in some shots to it being just kind of a ringing deaf thing, and it's jarring for the first
yeah.
time. But as soon as it hit, I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool." Like you're experiencing the world as a deaf person right now
Yes.
in this crazy monster attack situation, and then it comes out of it, and the sound comes back on, and I
Mm,
was like, that's giving that. I mean, it's effective storytelling
mm,
in that for all of these different examples that we've given, it gives you empathy for the person that you're following because
mm,
you are experiencing something different than you're used to because it is their story, which is the whole point.
mm. Yeah,
So
but
that's
also,
super interesting.
yeah, but it's also, in my opinion, I can't speak to, you know, to the veracity of my own arguments because I don't have the knowledge. But in my opinion, when I look at those chopped up kind of scenes, they want to mimic kind of progression. They want to have a nice rhythm to it,
Yeah.
similar to other kinds of superhero movies, where every scene has, you know, thousands of pixels inside, yeah, or millions of pixels, yeah, millions of pixels, and you know, maybe 100 frames a second or something like this, something crazy like that. But uh, I want to ask you a controversial kind of question, and
Sure.
then we'll move on to the kind of the nitty-gritty of the industry itself. Um, what do you think? This is a very controversial question, but what do you think makes or breaks a movie, or makes it transcend the kind of linear, generic? Uh,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a simple. I mean, it's a simple answer, and it's story. It's everything comes back to story. Even even a good, not a lot, but a terrible script can stay good if there's a good enough story. But script and story is usually what it comes down to. Like, if you can have the prettiest shot movie ever, but if it's not an interesting story and the script sucks, like you're not, it's going to be not worth your time. So make or break, I think, is its story. Is this something that is worth watching, that keeps me hooked? And I do this a lot with my wife, where we'll watch something and we're like 15 minutes in, and I'll like pause it, and I'm like, okay, are we like enjoying this, or are we like trying to enjoy this? And if we're both like kind of trying to enjoy it, then we'll watch something else, because 15 45 minutes or 15 30 minutes is enough time to be like, I could waste 2 hours of my life watching this. And then again, you turn on something with a good story, with that's well written, that is well done, and it's 2 hours fly by. So I think that's the basic thing: is, are you telling an interesting story? Are you telling even are your visuals good enough, even if the story is meh, to keep you interested? Like, the story of 300 is pretty simple, but God, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, because it's so gorgeously shot. That, got another high movie for sure. But no, I think, make or break, and what makes it stand out is this story something that's worth being on the screen?
Yeah, it's a kind of we would say in this modern age, or post-modern age, we would say that this is a kind of Lord of the Rings Instagram filter. Yeah, or 300. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
They use the same filter.
Yeah, no, but like, again, it's that's the other thing too, is like, say what the Fast and Furious franchise. Let's take that.
Love it.
Story, what the story's going to be on that, but it's a popcorn shove in your face, have a beer, good time movie, and that, like, that going in. It's like, as long as you know what you're going into, I'm not expecting, Aaron Sorkin level writing out of Fast and the Furious. But it's still a fun movie, because they have cars shooting between buildings. Like, fuck it, it's a fun time. You got hot women, butts, and cars, and it works. And family.
Yes.
But no, like, I think setting expectations is huge. Like, that's why some of, we just watched George of the Jungle last night, which is one of my favorites. And man, that it's been years since I've seen it, but it is such a good movie, because it's so self-aware. Like, that script is phenomenal. The acting is fine. Like, anyway, I'm so happy also Brendan Fraser making a comeback. But like, it's just, again, if a movie knows what it is, and say it's just campy as hell, like perfect. Oh my God, yeah. Let's talk about self-aware movies, because I love them so much. Cabin in the Woods, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, just stuff like this that like kind of bend genres and are like know what they're doing. Is, God, it's just the most interesting shit to watch. I absolutely, it's really movies for movie lovers, because it'll like make fun of a genre in different ways.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods I saw when I was too young. I think. Maybe 12 or.
Really? It came out recently.
No, the old version.
The old one, no, the new one. The new one that's like.
No, I didn't get to see it. No, at the current moment.
It was Chris Hemsworth before Thor.
Oh.
Yeah. Check that out, because it's like, it's a mixture. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a mixture of horror and sci-fi. And it's campy, and it's super fun.
It sounds cool, and I bet it's going to be fun if it will have Chris in it.
Yeah, it's a good time though.
So Cabin in the Woods, one of the most scary movies I've watched, but I still regard the Ring. I think it's the most. I think
The Ring fucked me up so bad. So bad. I was a teenager, and that Well, I mean, the ring girl face is what you see in the shower when you close your eyes.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Exactly that.
Across, they made something so scary that
Yes.
as a society,
I can
when we close
still,
our
I
eyes
can
in the
still,
shower,
I can still
you
feel
think that she's
her.
behind you.
Yeah, I can still feel her fingers rustling through my hairs
No, don't say it.
whenever.
Oh God, it's so
Yes,
bad.
yes,
That was terrifying. Yeah,
yes. I
agreed. The
got
ring
used to
was
her. Yeah,
so scary.
yeah. But she's not.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. It was
and then
the.
all and then the face, like what she did, it's just there's a whole, yeah, it's
Yes,
that was terrifying. And yes, it still haunts me. Absolutely.
yes.
The new It really haunts me too. It has actually showed up in a couple of my dreams, which is not fun.
No, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Have you seen Doctor Sleep?
Yes, I did. I did see that.
Yeah,
I think
it's hella long, hella long.
I don't think I finished it. I need to. So
I
here's the thing.
did.
I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and so me and my wife get about an hour and a half tops at night
Yes.
before we just pass out from tiredness. So we never get through a
Yeah.
full movie. So I think Doctor Sleep was one of those that we saw about half or 3/4 of, but I don't think we finished. I need to go because I was enjoying it. Again, even for good movies, I hate it when you're so tired that you're like, I'm really liking this,
Yeah.
but I'm so exhausted I can't follow it anymore.
Yeah, it was weird because that movie felt like a long kind of TV series. I don't know why.
There's some movies,
Yeah.
in fact, what was it like? I think, and I get that, the whole Snyder Cut thing needed to happen, but I think that would have been really, really
New
cool as a
Justice League,
series.
Yeah, I didn't get through all of it yet. It's 4 hours long.
I marathoned it, and I stayed up till like 2 a.m. and it was worth it. It's so good. But again, it would have been a great, because it's told in chapters, right? So like perfect setup for a series.
Yeah.
And I think more people probably would see it if it was a series. So like if your story, if you're pushing hours and hours and hours, like maybe make a series.
Yeah. Maybe Planet of the Apes will not be featured in kind of the movie theaters today because it's 6 hours long.
Yeah, exactly.
But I saw it as a kid, when I was 13, maybe 14. Yeah.
Well, it's back when they had like intermissions in movies. I remember seeing in a very old theater with my mom back in the day. I saw Gone with the Wind, and that is what, a 3 or 4 hour movie, but it had an intermission in the middle. Yeah, you get a little break.
I loved it. Yeah, it's a great epic.
Oh, of course, it's one of the classics.
Yeah, of course.
Full of racism, but it's a classic.
Yeah, yes, they're full of racism, but you gotta watch it. It's a must watch.
I think just knowing that it's full of racism
helps. Yes, but it helps in some ways because you can suspend your judgment because you say, well, they didn't know better. So
I honestly appreciate that from Disney Plus now, is like for their old cartoons, they'll have a little like advisory at the beginning of just like, hey, this was made in a different time. There are views in this. There are things portrayed that we don't necessarily agree with anymore that aren't like, so just as a warning, we don't stand for this stuff, but this is a classic movie.
Yeah, I saw it on other platforms too.
Like it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, like in the description of when you want to click it, like the description says that it doesn't represent the views of the company or something like this. Yeah.
Which again, listen, like it's something small. They're still out. Movies are still out, but I appreciate that's they're recognizing that they maybe made some mistakes back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. They made mistakes, but they're kind of funny, I think. Because, it's almost like a comic to see all those.
Well, I mean, it's just, again, it is, I mean, as, insensitive as it is it was kind of how society was back in the day.
Yeah.
Certain stuff was more accepted than it is now. And I'm happy we're making progress, but it's, also good to like have the context of where we came from so that we know, maybe don't have red-faced Indians in your stuff.
No. Yeah.
Native American, excuse me.
Yeah, but you wouldn't kind of crucify Mel Brooks for doing it. Yeah.
Right. And that's the other thing is it definitely the cancel culture, I think, has also gone too far where, yeah, there's a whole just balance thing. But no, I think Mel Brooks is one of the, comedy geniuses of our time. And no, yeah, it's very true. It's like, when can you just not take it too seriously and laugh versus is it really not okay to say? I don't in my I think he mostly made fun of Jewish stuff, which he was Jewish. So I think that, it's
Yes,
okay.
but it incorporated a lot of the, other
Yeah.
cultural themes. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, no, I'm Blazing Saddles is I mean, I get that, there's a lot of, but the thing is like I think they handle the racist things head on in the movie.
Yeah.
Where like the main character is black and is the smooth guy, is hilarious, is everything. And that's really, it's again being self-aware. Basically like, hey, we're going to tackle this subject, with empathy.
Yes. Yes, that's a big question for another topic.
Yeah, of course.
Another day, sorry.
Yeah.
But I would gladly love to discuss the kind of racism issue, which is not the only kind of ism there is in the film industry, especially in old-timey Hollywood. But there's a movie that I liked a lot called, I think, L.A. Noire. Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's great. It's starring a very controversial figure now, after a lot of rumors were confirmed. I don't want to say his name, but it's a very big actor.
Let me Google it real fast.
Yes, yes, you Google. And anyone listening, I said the name of the movie, so it's not a secret.
It's not a video game, right? It's a movie?
No, the movie. L.A. Noire, I think, is the name.
Not finding it. Oh, is it old?
Yes. It's from the 80s, yeah.
So weird. The only thing I'm finding is a video game that was based on L.A. Confidential.
Yes, L.A. Confidential. Yes,
okay,
that's the name, not L.A. Noire. L.A. Confidential. That's the name. A great kind of a detective whodunit story, starring.
Oh yeah. Big controversial. Yeah, I got you.
Yes. Now
House of Cards controversial.
No.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, so we are free of kind of yes. So another, talking about racism, another movie that is kind of the other end of the spectrum of what we say that about ignorance and maybe too much trying to appease, different types of cultures and races, is a movie called To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Which is, on the other end of the spectrum, which tries a bit too much. Yeah. A little too theatrical. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's such a classic movie and book that it's in schools. It's used as a teaching lesson, which I think is great. It's it's been so long since I visited the story, but no, I mean, it's what trial case. I'm trying to think of what was the trial about. It's literally been so long.
It was very bad. It was a little girl, 15 years old, who accused a black man of raping her.
That's right.
In a small town,
which he was innocent of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a great film.
And that, absolutely. No, 100%. No, and again, that was, I think in terms of a filmmaking thing, that was one of the classic courtroom movies, to start off that genre.
Yeah, but maybe the first one was like Citizen Kane, maybe, or there was another Orson Welles movie called The Trial, based on
Mm,
one of Franz Kafka's books. Yeah,
okay.
you need to see it, I think. And there's
Yeah,
also,
definitely. For sure. I gotta check. I got a whole watch list after this podcast.
yeah, there is of course a movie that I don't know if you know, The Third Man, of course.
I don't think I've seen that again. I have
Yeah,
a
by Orson Welles. Yeah.
I have 1,001 movies to see before you die book that I eventually will try and work through.
Yeah, yeah. In terms
Yeah, man,
of,
I gotta wrap up here in the next couple minutes.
yeah, okay, so
Got some other meetings.
I'll just ask you one last question, the most
Yeah,
controversial question, and we'll end it, and I hope we can talk again
yeah,
in the
sure.
future. So what is your favorite movie?
Yes. Okay. So I have prepared responses for this because um
Mm,
I'll say favorite movie and then favorite director because it's so hard to say exactly.
mm,
But yeah, I would say, and this will kind of give you a good idea of like the style that I really like. I think my favorite movie, just off the top of my head, and of course everybody's gonna be pissed at the answer because they, how can you choose a favorite movie? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because and I'll follow that
Oh,
up by saying I think Edgar Wright is my hands down favorite director of all time.
mm,
Just because of the way that he uses the camera, the way that the way that it goes into editing, just everything is so smooth and crisp, and the stories he tells are incredible. It's the writing is there's actually a great YouTube essay on how Edgar Wright uses the camera as a character for
mm,
comedy, where like a character will have like say something funny and then go out of frame for a second and then like come back in to like prove a
yeah.
point. And it's just there's stuff like that where like he just he takes the art of filmmaking, the sport of filmmaking to the next level. And it's just it's just such satisfying movies to watch. But Scott Pilgrim was I'll watch that any day, anytime. I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I watched it at the right age. I watched
Yeah.
it at about maybe 16, yeah, which is the age that it's appropriate, I think.
That should show you about my emotional intelligence as well. I'm still a teenage boy.
No, but it's a truly great movie. It reminds me of a kind of a pseudo Tarantino movie.
Exactly.
Yes.
It has all these different aspects and it has some edge to it. It's funny. It's got action. It's got romance. It's got, you know, stuff like comic books come to life kind of thing. There's just so much style in it that I just, when I make stuff on my own, like personal projects, I really try for the Edgar Wright style of like match cuts and interesting transitions and making it really visually appealing around a good story.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much, Noah, for this amazing, truly amazing and great conversation. I hope we
Yeah, I
can
appreciate it.
talk next time about horror movies.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I
Thank you
appreciate it,
so.
man. This has been a blast.
Yeah, for me too, of course. Thank you for watching and goodbye. Bye bye.